top sinuhena sinut et. Let me check out the kemet. Let me check the sound. Great. We have Netaneb who will come through. I'm waiting for his arrival. If you have questions for him, feel free. I'm sure we'll be happy to answer questions. But I have not shared the invite link yet. However, what I've shared a few minutes ago are the degrees of Theophado Benga and the sources. San Francisco State University. I hope you're doing well, brothers and sisters. Remember? Oh, here's our brother Nedaneb. Hotep, then.
Hotep, Cindy, how you doing?
Doing well. You look tired.
Yeah, I was doing some work for University of Abume. So
All right. Well, feel free to introduce yourself to the audience that might not know you. Feel free to let them know your YouTube channel and any other social media you would like to share.
oh well, I am Netronab. Everyone should know me by now. But I am a student of Institute of Comparative Philology, Dr. Raketi Amin. I'm also a linguistic instructor on a linguistic institution, Akili, in Ghana, and that's directed by Dr. Obadeli Cambone. So I do linguistic instructions on Negro Egyptian linguistics. I'm also a third semester student from Dr. Raketi Amin. I'm attending, well, I soon will be attending, I'm attending university now of APU, but I will be getting transferred for a historical linguistic degree at UMass Amherst. So that's in the talks. That's going to be, that's in right now. So I will be attending UMass for a linguistic degree. After that, well, far as right now, I work in a linguistic field directly, the professional linguistic field, with Professor Sati from University of Khartoum in Nubia. And I'm also a peer-reviewed scholar. So my work was accepted on Kemet in a notable linguistic publication, and my work just was accepted at University of Abume the Department of History and Archaeology. So I have two papers that was accepted, and I'm a student of Egyptian grammar, Medu natural grammar, transliterations, translations. And also I work in the linguistic field as an instructor with a syllabus at Akili in Ghana. So.
All right. I have shared the brother Netaneb's YouTube channel. I remember that at least on Facebook, you used to go by Netaneb, son of Nubia. Is that correct?
Yeah, I still go by that name. That name was given to me by Professor Nazir Sati from University of Khartoum in Nubia. Yeah,
I get it. Now, you mentioned Dr. Cambon, and I remember maybe a couple of months ago, he had uploaded a video of him having a discussion with, I nickname him the fake linguist now. But then the video was removed. Is there any reason why? Maybe you would like to share the reason why the video was removed?
Yeah, I remove videos because in the scientific field, I was informed. A lot of stuff I'm not informed of trying to bridge the gap between unprofessional and professional. Professionals don't talk to linguists that's not professional. They don't give them credit, credence. They will have to prove their standings in the gold standard of science, which is, of course, peer review. If your work is not peer reviewed, it's nothing. Trust me, I know this. In order for you to change scientific standings, you must get your work submitted in scientific peer-reviewed Egyptological or linguistic journals to change these standings that we are arguing about. And a lot of times, those professors put in so much work in linguists and scientists, they don't even mention or even bother to mention names of people who are what they call, quote unquote, pseudo-linguistics. So a lot of times, I'll be wanting to give information. Trust me, I do. But I am a linguistic instructor now for a credible institution. So that will make the institution look bad. Me addressing a pseudo, he will have to prove that himself. And that's why sometimes I have a lot of information, brother, especially on pseudos, their information. But I have to censor it because it will make the institution look bad, et cetera, et cetera.
And I mean, I thought that discussion was so interesting because I've listened to it from beginning to end,
Mm.
and I was so amazed that the guy, the pseudo so-called linguist, fake linguist, as I nickname him, he was arguing with Dr. Combo. Dr. Combo had his PhD in linguistics, and
Correct.
it's just amazing. And I remember at one point, um, sometimes people like to, ask some questions to try to act like, they want to corner somebody. And I
Mhm.
remember he was like, has that language been reconstructed? And then Dr. Combo replied, well, it doesn't need to be reconstructed. It's not the same language. you know.
Right.
But besides that, when I talked to the pseudo fake linguist and I asked him if he had a degree in linguistics, he said that he studied computer science and that they dealt with linguistics. And then he stated that Theophilo Benga doesn't have a degree in linguistics. And just earlier, I made a short video and I gave the link in the description and also in the chat of the San Francisco State University.
Mm.
And there they mention that Theophilo Benga studied linguistics in Geneva, Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
And he also studied linguistics and philology in Sorbonne, Paris, France.
Yes.
So that's just for the record. People going to have to get their facts right. Maybe the
Yes.
maybe the San Francisco State University is not correct. They will
Correct.
probably refute that university, but it's pending. We'll see. All right. Now tell me, brother, how long have you been dealing? Have you been learning the Medu nature? How did you get to learn
Mm.
the Medu nature?
Learning meta nature for at least 12 years now, or 13. I came in as everyone else, not knowing anything, pseudo ideas and black Hebrews, and I'm thinking I'm everything. I'm thinking I'm a more Hebrew slash Egyptian.
Okay.
I thought I was that, right? Until I had a conversation with Siba Hirokanu, and he said, "Man, you got everything wrong." And he sent me to Dr. Richetti to learn, and I had the money at the time, and I gave my money to learn courses, and she cussed me out for at least 2 years. Dr. Richetti, not cuss me out, but you know what I mean. She set me straight, said, Ned, if you don't be quiet, you will be out this class. I said, okay, I will stop with the pseudo-wisdoms. So Dr. Richetti was really my turning point when I was younger, over 10 years ago, into studying the structure of Medu and Coptic. She teaches two types of Medu. She teaches Old Egyptian grammar and how to read Old Egyptian and Middle Egyptian. They are not the exact same. They have their differences, but most likely 90% of the time, Old Egyptian and Middle Egyptian are just alike. Minus a few grammatical differences.
Hmm.
She teaches also Coptic, also philology. So I learned how to um, compare texts, and she teaches basic linguistics. She taught me basic linguistics in Coptic. That's where she was teaching her students at that time. Uh, from that, I learned more. I got beat up by Professor Campbell because I say, look, I want to be a scientist. I think I'm this and that. I know everything now. I'm a student of Dr. Ricchetti. I know everything. And then I tried to submit for a scientific publication. It came to reality. I know nothing. And once I learned that I know nothing about the language, that's when I began to gain experience with knowledge. And I began to learn things because I accept the fact that I just know nothing. And I just know a little bit. A little bit. Um, so eventually from that, a professor from the University of Khartoum in Nubia was looking at some of my comparative analysis and wanted me to compare Nubian languages with Egyptian because they'd never been compared before in the history of linguistics, in the history of Egyptology. And I got beat up by Dr. Nazir Sati from the University of Khartoum. He beat me up and showed me that they have some foundation. Then I began to do the knowledge that Dr. Ricchetti taught me to compare Nubian languages with Medu in Coptic, and then I compared Dogon Tomoso, Southwestern Dinka, and Coptic languages, and I submitted it, and then now I got it. After I done all of the many years, I learned that I was in error on a lot of things, and once I got into the science realm, it was totally different to what I'm learning, what I was learning on in the I don't even know what the name of it, YouTube realm or I don't know,
The
but in
so-called
that realm. So
the so-called conscious community.
yeah, I guess that's
Mhm.
the title. Cyber conscious community.
Yes, well, it doesn't seem to be much integrity because we have some people who apparently are doing plagiarism.
Correct.
We have some people who dismiss the experts
Correct.
because many times I do say, okay, those are the specialists. Even when I give my Medu Nature classes, I tell the people this is what the consensus of Egyptology says. Then I might give them my opinion. I might, and many times I happen to tell them, well, this is my stance. This is conjecture. It's not established. But that's the consensus of Egyptology because those PhDs, whether we like them or not, they have done the studies, they have done the work, and if we look at the PhD programs for Egyptology, when people uh, go up to the PhD, they do field works. They
Correct.
go and do digging. So they do all sorts. They don't just learn the Middle Egyptian. They
Right.
will also learn the Coptic, and it is also well. It depends on the universities. Some universities will encourage learning different languages, including
Well,
German.
well, 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 well. Not to stop you, brother. Sorry, but you're absolutely 1,000% accurate. And then this is why I say that because in my school you have to learn French, German. Okay. You have to know Medu and English. And then you got to go through a basic course of basic English grammar, French grammar, and German. So it's mandatory in the university level, the scientific level, that you must know French, German, or of your choosing, depending on what university you go to. You're correct.
Yes, for example, at the University of Geneva,
Mm-hmm.
they encourage people to learn like German, Italian. I forgot if they included French as
No,
well.
no, no. You're making a mistake. You have to know it because that's
Well,
part of your. Hold on, watch this.
mm, well,
You
I'm
see it?
talking about, yes, I'm talking about the one of Geneva, Switzerland. You
No,
know,
no, no, no. I know
yes,
that everybody
yes.
is
Mm-hmm.
different,
Mm-hmm.
but we say Geneva,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to pull it up. I guarantee you that they will have these are my transcripts from my school,
Mm.
and it's a guarantee for you to get your degree that you have to get credits in foreign language.
In foreign languages, indeed, and indeed, I was about to say, at other universities with the PhD, well, not PhD program, with the Egyptology program, starting from the bachelor's,
Yeah,
you must know some foreign languages. You know, so
there
we're
you
not
go.
even talking about masters, we're not even talking about PhD, right from the bachelor's.
Yes.
And can you remind me the university that you're studying in right now?
Right now, I am in. Right now, I was in APU, and right now I'm in the process of getting my stuff transferred to University of UMass. They are interested in my work,
Mhm.
but
Uh,
first,
I'm sorry, APU. What does that stand for?
American Public University
Oh,
accredited.
okay.
And then from American Public University, I'm getting my stuff my transcripts transferred to University of UMass. Me and UMass is very close. They are interested, and I was told to do a formal letter, a cover letter. They call it a cover letter.
Hmm.
Do a cover letter. So they know my skills, but now I gotta present a cover letter so I can get things accredited what I passed and meet the criteria for UMass. So I'm in that now. But the most important thing right now is my work that is in a Ghana General Linguistics. That's kind of more than a college. The reason why I tell you that because when you even go for a PhD, you do a dissertation.
Hmm.
Dissertations are not peer reviewed. They are only reviewed by the school, but it's not the gold standard of peer review. I am working with what I say why I'm a linguist. I can tell you because I work in the linguistic field. I do linguistic work. I work with linguistic professors. I'm also a linguistic instructor, not just as far as my schooling in Egyptology, Coptic, other languages like Nubian, Dogon, and things of that nature. But also, I'm a linguistic instructor where I have to create my own syllabus on Achille. And you can contact Dr. Obideli Cambone. He can easily inform you of my position there. Also, I submitted work on Kemet in the Ghana Journal of Linguistics, the GJL, which is a highly notable scientific linguistic journal. A lot of people cannot even publish there. You got to know how to write the structure of the papers. It's not just your hypothesis. Told you, I learned that I know nothing. And from knowing nothing, that's how I begin to learn. Because like Dr. Ricchetti said, Nachanet, be quiet. Please unknow. She told me to unknow what I think I know. That's what Dr. Ricchetti, I'm in said in my course with Institute of Comedic Biology. She has an online course. She went to the University of Chicago to get learn Egyptology as well. She know French, German, and,
Chinese.
and Coptic. So
Doesn't she know Chinese as well?
yes, she knows Chinese. See, you got to get those languages as you stating as credits. They call them credits. So
Credits, yes.
here, let me see what I gotta get.
Are you in a master's program?
No, I'm in bachelor's.
Bachelor's program. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I graduated. I already graduated from Anne Arundel Community College in computers. And
Mm.
we didn't deal with no damn linguistics.
Because I suspect, but I
Let me
don't
show
know,
you.
but probably it was like the coding, CSS, HTML. I would be surprised that it was really languages.
I graduated from Anne Arundel Community College, continuing education record, College Parkway, Arnold, Maryland. This is my transcript. You see the seal. You get a
Hmm.
seal. You see a number, and this was in early 2002. You see, this is very early, and you see what you see. You see computer repair A plus certification, computer repair A plus certification model 1,
Module
2,
two,
and
module
3.
three.
Telecommunications cabling, etc., etc. We did not know no damn linguistics. The guy is, people
He's special.
is weird.
He's special. And
Unless he's taking computation linguistics.
mm,
If he can show you that he's taking accredited courses in computation linguistics, then that's something different. But knowing historical linguistics as he is explaining for computer school is ridiculous. And I went to school, and I'm about to get my transcripts in University of UMass for linguistics because they interested in me, right? Yes, these are certifications, but I still graduated from a college. These are credits. I could take these to any university and get credits. I did not say I have a degree. You can ask this brother. I never said that I have a degree, but what I'm saying is that you must.
yeah, you said you graduated, right?
Yes, from a college, right? That's accredited, a community college. These are certifications from my graduation, meaning that these are credits. This is why you get points. You see these points? Y'all see these points over here? Hours, points. All right. And you see 7.2. So I can take this to a university. A community college is a prep to go to universities. Now, this is a university. So since that person wanna, act like
He wants scrutiny.
Sure, look at this.
Yeah.
So we got American Public University, right? And what we have here. See that? This is accredited. So this is I'm in my second semester, and I'm from APU. Students, whoever is known in universities and to go to college, everybody don't stay in the same school. Dr. Benga didn't stay in the same school. He got transferred and went to other schools to learn more things. That's what I'm doing. I am in here for a bachelor's for my second semester. Now I'm taking my bachelor knowledge. Now I want to go to UMass Amherst because UMass has a linguistic program. Linguistic programs are rare. Y'all, you understand? I learned linguistics from an online course from a professor, Dr. Raketi Ahmed. That's where I learned, and that's credible. And universities, let me get it straight for y'all who don't know about universities. My experience in Medu nature is what is points too. I hope y'all know that. My experience in transliterating and translation, working with Akili on the BB2Me, submitting my work that university professors don't even do. What I have done is submitting my work to a peer-reviewed scientific journal or points to certain universities. So I'm taking all my skills and they call that experience points. Look up UMass Amherst and you will see they will have experience points. So I get my experience points because I'm actually learned in it from a course in a teacher. So that's experience. So yes, I can take my second semester scores from this university, include it in a cover letter with my skill with Medu nature, all of these languages I'm trained in, even as a linguistic instructor. I am also a linguistic instructor in an institution that was created by a award-winning linguist, Dr. Obadeli Kambon. He don't deal with no pseudos.
Hold on. I want to block one person because he says that you have poor command of the English language. I understood everything you said from the beginning, and I think it's really disingenuous. So I don't want to deal with that type of stuff. So I'm just going to where is it? Is it the one? Yes. I mean, you guys have the right to disagree, but don't take it that far. That's not cool at all. So
well, in the University of UMass, brother, they have a course called AAE, African American English, and it's called AAV, African American Vernacular. My vernacular is accepted in universities. So, you may say that I speak poor English, but we call it AAV, African American Vernacular. That is a real study in University of UMass. Man, I'm gonna put it up. Let me pull all this stuff up. I'm gonna pull up the experience credits. You can get credit from experience. You know, sometimes you gotta pull stuff up.
No, it's okay. I got rid of that person because that's like we don't need that type of stuff. No,
I always get disrespected by my own kind.
yeah, and that's something that's sad, but I went through it, and sometimes people might feel like it's cliche,
Yeah,
but the people that gave me the most difficulties, that attacked me the most, landed me the most, it
yeah,
was my own kind indeed,
that's true.
and it's a shame. But I understand that a lot of time it comes from jealousy, because with everything that happened to us, a lot of our people have some inferiority complex. They feel like black people cannot do as good as white people, or if they see a black person do better than them, they feel some kind of way. And so then they want to try to look for something. So it might be your accent, it might be your geographic location, it might be your skin tone. I have so many people who told me, well, yeah, you lie, he's white. Your daughter is white. All
Mm.
kind of stuff. But it comes with the territory. When you are there, you not only have people who appreciate what you do. For so many reasons, you will have some people who have some sort of resentment or disdain or even hate towards you, and they will not necessarily articulate it in a honest manner. So they might look for little stuff. But just on a side note, I remember seeing some video of you fighting, some sort of kickboxing. Was that
No,
you or
I
was it
do,
somebody
I
else?
do, I do, I do boxing and jujitsu and judo.
Oh, but it wasn't you who had some video online, or maybe it was somebody else. Then
No, that's me. That's
it was
me.
you. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I do. It wasn't kickboxing. It was judo and
Okay.
jujitsu. So
Oh,
I used to train military. That's why I'm in a military school because I used to train. I used to train military and police and stuff like that. So I won a silver medal in judo and jujitsu. I'll pull those pictures up too.
okay. Yeah,
But
because
anyway, for
I
that
did I
point,
did I did Muay Thai and kickboxing, so
yeah, maybe
and
we gotta spar some. See where you at.
I'm in France right now, so but I'm planning on going to America because there's so many museums there. So if we
Right.
link up, we might do a little sparring.
Man, that's right.
And I wanted to ask you because I remember you mentioning Bonochi, because Montgomery Bonochi, I remember there was that video from a guy who claimed that there's a glyph that stands for Allah. That was back in like 2008 or something.
Excuse me, brother. Can
Yeah.
I get this straight? Because the
Of
brother
course,
don't
yes.
like
Go ahead. Feel free. Feel free.
because people
Yes.
don't like my accent. This is the university that I'm trying to get my well, I'm doing it in the process now from APU, getting credit to UMass is for a linguistics degree. So this is the Center for the Study of African American Language. I speak African American language. Do people know that that's accepted in scientific schools, universities? It's like Creole. We don't speak the standard English. I speak how I speak. Mexicans speak how they speak. When it's a shame because when Mexicans come here, they speak English. It don't sound good, but no one criticizes them as Africans, and we have the right to sound different when we speak English as everybody else that has an accent, and that's a human being in language. So I just want to just touch on that actually African American English called Ebonics, they labeled it Ebonics is similar to Medu Neter. It has a lot of the grammar features that Medu Neter has in the way we talk, in the way we speak. So you may not like my speaking, and yes, I agree. I have poor standard English, but my English is considered what they call African American English, and they have actual scientific centers of learning and science to study our language structure. They said it's a real language. We have a real language. The language rappers talk, you don't understand what they're saying, how they saying it, and things of that nature. That's true. So as y'all are looking at, the UMass This is the college I'm trying to get into. University of Massachusetts Amherst College of Humanities and Fine Arts. Center for the Study of African American Language. Yes, we talk different. So if you expect me to sound like a European from the Caucasus Mountains with proper English, it's not going to happen. That's like saying a Mexican should sound like that. It's not, it won't happen. So I just want to get that straight, brother. I apologize.
No, no problem. I don't need to apologize. And I remember. Well, we have one question here. Techly is asking, "Are you in the U.S., brother, or studying in Africa somewhere?" I
Yeah,
missed the
both.
beginning.
It's both. I am a linguistic instructor in Ghana. See, Dr. Obadeli Cambone has a institution. He is an award-winning scientist. So he started an institution called a BB Tumi CASA um, African Language Institute. And he made me an instructor where I have to form a syllabus. So an actual scientist gave me permission from my hard labor and skill from all of the years and experience. Because I told you, scientists also go by experience now, not just your degrees. They got to be experience from in universities, just like the University of Amherst. I'm gonna pull that up. They also have credits. You can get credits to get in these schools if you have experience. So he made me an instructor of Negro Egyptian, an introduction to Negro Egyptian linguistics.
All right, we have brother Reggie in the place to be,
Yeah.
and yes, indeed. So there was a guy who it was a Runo Korashidi tour, and he said, "Well, that glyph means Allah." So I refuted that back in like 2008, and brother Bonochi, he saw some of video, he really appreciated it, and what happened, he sent me a message, then we spoke on the phone, and as a token of appreciation, he did send me those maps showing Kemet. So it was some Medu Nature group out of Detroit, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken, and I haven't really spoken to him in a long time, but I know that way back he was already into the Medu Nature, and from what I can see, he's giving classes also as part of Reketi Amen's website and so on.
And a BB Toomey. He's a respected scholar. Bonachi Montgomery is one of the most highly respected Medu teachers on the planet. He is also respected by a BB Toomey CASA African Language Institute. He also teaches classes on the BB Toomey, which is a scientific platform. He is respected by scientists. He is on a linguistic platform now. So Benachi Montgomery is one of my teachers, one of my CBA's leaders, and also he's I can prove for a fact that he is scientifically respected on a BB Toomey, a credible linguistic platform.
All right. Now, well, someone who says that he's asking why I'm scared to be challenged, and he asked me to go back on Moorish World TV. Tahaka Bey said that he will send me an email to invite me again so I can talk about the Medinetra. He hasn't done so. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, because when I showed him the standard of ore with the phenotype of Sumerians, I didn't even get to show all the artifacts, and he was already dismissing it. And then we talked, and he said that Saddam Hussein is melanated, and Osama bin Laden is melanated. So, for the record, I made a video later on, and I quoted the NHS, which is the National Health Services of the United Kingdom. I also quoted some other website. I forgot the name, but the video is there. But for the record, for our people who don't know, white people have melanin too. So if you say someone is melanated, it's not really precise. Even albinos have melanin. Not all of them. Some albinos completely lack melanin, but for the most part, all human
They lack
beings.
melanin, but they have it.
Mhm.
Every human being has melanin. Every animal, everybody has melanin. So
Exactly. So when I showed the picture of the Turkish president to Tahaka Bey, when I asked him about I didn't show him. When I asked him, are the Turks melanated? He said no, and that's because of their lessons. So that's some picking and choosing there. So they don't like to use the word black, and they like to say melanated. But once again, everybody's melanated. It's not precise at all. This is just for the record.
Well,
And hold on, brother. Look at this. This guy wrote Bin Laden was a black man. And I guess, I ain't going to take it further. I've heard enough. Thank you for your contribution. Some things you have to see to believe. Oh, my goodness. So I remember that you've been addressing for a long time some weird statements or exotic statements. So we touched on the plagiarism, but there's some very detailed videos about that because I followed the whole thing.
mm,
You have those tools online where you can put some text and you can see if it's registered, you know.
correct.
And there was a lot of stuff, you know. But apparently now we have some brothers who say that Cam doesn't necessarily stand for black, even when it's an adjective after a name.
Oh my.
But they even state, well, look at the wall. Look on the wall. They are not black. You see the hair? The hair is black,
Mm-hmm.
but the skin is not black. So I'm wondering, are we going 50 years back when Diop and Obenga argued for the blackness of the
No,
ancient Egyptians?
I think we're not. I think we are going forward. Those who does that on YouTube is something else. It's a cult. I think we are
Cool.
going forward. What I say about forward, all of the scientific linguistic professors I'm around, they are going forward with the information. We don't argue on a BB Timmy Casa, where you have Harvard linguists, you have linguists from, man, it's so many linguists, people are scared. I invite people there and they are scared shut. All of these guys that that talk on YouTube, I invite them to a linguistic platform where scientists are at that know better. They are scared straight. You hear nothing.
Mm,
Literally. I'm an organizer in one of the scientific groups. Nothing. You don't hear anything. Why? See what I mean? So it depends on what you're considering. If you're considering a cyber black conscious community, uh, going forward in anything, there's no forward in the cyber conscious community. They don't even submit their work to peer review paper publishing. They don't challenge standings. They argue all day, 6 hour, 8 hour, 9 hour videos on YouTube. It means nothing. You have to get your work in the gold standard, which is peer review and scientific publications, to challenge European science. You can't do that by arguing on YouTube and you know what I mean by ghetto scholarship, et cetera, et cetera. You can't do it like that. You have to do it scientifically. So I think, far as on the African science side, we are moving forward. And far as on the side that don't know about science, well, that's pseudoscience.
mm,
You have Europeans where they are making hypersonic missiles and getting that work peer reviewed to elevate their technology and awareness of the world. Where you have Europeans who are pseudoscience that believe the earth is flat. You
yeah.
have Europeans that pseudo that argue that the earth is actually flat. That's what they believe. And so you will have pseudoscience in every culture. You have pseudoscience in African culture, and then you have African science that's moving forward. So I would agree to disagree that I agree that we are moving forward on the
Mm,
Mikasa. My work was just accepted. I am trying to change the ethnic identity of Africans. Africans, as a Latin term, we are not Africans. We are not black. We are not Negro. We're not any of those standings. We have to look into the indigenous African languages to dictate what we are. So from that, until we do that, until it's accepted scientifically to form a scientific consensus, we are African because that's what we accepted from the consensus of European scientists, giving us the name. Until we challenge that scientifically, we will always be called African until we change it. My paper, we already know we called ourselves Black in numerous African languages. We can go to Proto-Bantu languages, estimated to be 3000 BCE. If anyone look it up, look up Proto-Bantu right now, and when you look it up, you will go to 3000 BCE, which means that is 5,000 years ago. 3000 BCE means before the Common Era. So it's 3000 before the 2000 mark. So that makes it 5,000 years. So in 5,000 years ago, Africans were describing albinos. We were describing Europeans, Asians, and blacks. We always said we were dark, black, than other ethnicities because of albinos. Every certain generations, Africans produce albinoism, which caused the discoloration of the skin and a little less melanated than normal of blacks. But they are considered black folks, even though their skin is white. So we had full knowledge of skin complexion. We had knowledge of skin complexion in the Sahara. If you see the Saharan rock art, you see they painted themselves what they were: dark brown to reddish dark brown coloration and yellow. You find a few yellow folks trotting around now. So from that, you're absolutely correct. I agree with you, but to say that we are black far as this racial standing and racial construct, we are not black.
Should we say Kemchu then?
So,
Should we say Kemchu?
well, I'm arguing Kemetu. You want to see the name?
Kemetu.
Well, I'll show you the acceptance letter here. Let me show you. And then they're going to tell you the name of my work that was accepted. We're trying to argue as the Eskimos. For example, the term Eskimo is a European term that was placed upon those people. And that's what those brave people did, the Eskimos. They fought back and they hired a linguist. And they hired the scientist. And what she did was she looked into the Eskimo indigenous languages. And then she found out that in every Eskimo indigenous languages, they describe themselves as the Inuit. See?
Oh,
and then the Inuit. So all of them became Inuit. And they challenged the standing with a linguistic scientist. My standing is the oldest name on register, not a hypothetical proto-reconstruction. Proto-Bantu is hypothetical, it's not real, it don't exist. It's just a estimation of living extent of what they call Bantu languages that reconstructed a proto-language to form it, that birthed it. That's only a hypothetical reconstruction. Proto-Bantu is not real. I just want people to know that. A lot of people think Proto-Bantu is a real language. It is, in fact, not real. It don't exist. It's not attested. So we know that in African languages, our languages are attested. We can go to Medu, which is the mother of all Black African languages, according to Dr. Obenga, who is a linguist and editor of a peer-reviewed scientific journal. We can go to even a European. We can go to Joseph Greenberg. Don't be surprised. Joseph Greenberg also classed Black African languages along inside the Afroasiatic family to be genetically related to Medu, even though I don't agree and we don't agree, and no even European or white agrees with Greenberg method, whether white or African. We don't agree with Greenberg method as historical linguists. But Greenberg did show that Medu is related to Somali and Coptic and other African languages. So I give him credit as far as that. So from that standpoint, we know that Medu is the mother as well as the Eskimo languages. For those people, Medu is the mother of the Black African languages. So we have to find out what we called ourselves. What we called ourselves in our indigenous languages was Black. Look, trust me, it's so much in complex information to that. I don't know the full story, but we do know that it's cognate within Medu, Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, Semitic, Coptic, Wolof, Igbo, Kikongo, Nubian Dongolawi, Dogon Tomato, Southwest Dinka, Cameroonian languages. I can name and go on. I can go on. The name exists. So for some reason, we called ourselves Blacks. And the oldest term for that term that birthed all of these reflexes in Black African languages is kemetio. That is the oldest existing term.
Now, came at you from the root chem.
Correct.
Lately, we had some people, but really, it's not many. It looks like it's a couple, though it was claimed that they have some scholars on their side, but it's a claim. We haven't heard their names. Um, but those two guys who appear to be pseudo, and I'm trying to be diplomatic, they argue that chems can stand as a title, can stand for a title after a name. So the discussion is online. It took 3 hours and 45 minutes, and we did not see any instance or example. So you mentioned the Coptic a few times.
Mm.
Have you ever heard someone from linguist claim that Niger Congo is closer to the Medu nature than the Coptic? Have you ever heard that claim?
There is, in fact, no linguistic standing that exists in no peer-reviewed scientific publication. That is, I believe, from a pseudo-linguist. That's from
Hmm.
Asar Hotep. First of all, let me correct everyone. Niger Congo don't exist. It's not real. It's dubious. And I did videos on that on the peer review channel. My channel is only peer review data, so y'all can trust my channel. You go to my channel, I only share from peer review data. Naga Congo languages don't exist. It's a dubious language phylum. And what I mean by it's dubious is that the languages in Niger Congo never have been genetically related. We have to note this as people. Niger Congo languages never been proven scientifically to be linguistically related to each other in the whole phylum. So no one in the world has got every single Bantu language, every single Niger Congo language. And as they did the Indo-European languages, they did not do that with Niger Congo. So this is why in Fodor, 1966, this is why and why Dr. Theophile Benga say Afroasiatic, all these other language families is simply just not scientific, and he created his own, which is Negro Egyptian language families, because each of these languages that are in these separate language families created by Joseph Greenberg are genetically related to Medu Neter. So how can a language in Niger Congo be genetically related to a language in Afroasiatic? That means someone got something wrong with
Uh,
these
uh,
language families. See?
okay, but let's presume for the sake of argument that the Niger Congo phylum is accurate.
There's no argument in all peer-reviewed papers that says it's not accurate.
I understand. But if we just presume for the sake of argument, okay, let's
I don't
presume.
presume on things that's already scientifically
Okay,
accepted
well,
to
let me
be
ask another way.
peer-reviewed and
I
not
understand.
scientifically established.
I understand. So let me ask another way. The languages that fall under
Mhm.
this inaccurate Niger
Dubious.
Congo file, yes, Niger
Dubious.
Congo, yes, Niger Congo, dubious Niger Congo phylum,
Mhm.
what will be your stance when you hear someone say that those languages are closer to the Meta nature than the Coptic? Because from what I've been hearing for years, the PhDs, the Egyptologists, they have been saying that Coptic is the latest phase of the Meta nature, the latest stage of the
What's
Meta
wrong with
nature.
that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with them saying that? There's something wrong with it.
Well, I'm not saying there's something wrong. What I'm saying
No,
is
let
that
me ask you this.
yes,
Let me ask you this.
mm,
What language was the key to the decipherment of Medu Neter? Name the language.
what it will be the Coptic,
Okay,
and
so
thanks to the Greek with the
so
Rosetta
have
Stone.
it. No, listen.
Yes,
Have anybody used the Niger Congo language for the decipherment of Medu Neter?
not to my knowledge, not to my knowledge.
Well, I mean, we can show peer review. It's not about knowledge. We can just go to peer review a record to the history of Champollion and see what's what. So as scholars, I don't play. So we got to go with what we see as evidence into something else. What changed the standing? If no one has used Niger, a so-called Niger Congo language to decipher Medu Neter, why is we having this conversation?
Well,
See, you understand what I mean?
uh, uh,
But you understand what I mean. But we have evidence that Coptic was used for the decipherment. So we're going to stick scientifically until someone in the future changes the standing. First of all, they have to prove that Niger Congo is in itself scientifically related. All of those languages, every languages that you see in Niger Congo has to be scientifically related. You have to prove that in peer-reviewed scientific data. No one in the world have done it on the planet Earth yet. So this is why we are saying as a scientific consensus on a BB on even Europeans say it. Even this text say it here about Niger Congo. We can go to any historical linguistic text. This text says it. Anybody that studies historical linguistics, in which we understand the methodology of relationship. So I want to ask you, what is the methodology of the relationship of Niger Congo? What methodology established it to be a language family?
Well, that I'm not familiar with really, but that claim of Niger Congo languages being closer to
no, bro. Answer my question.
I did answer. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so since you're not familiar as a linguist,
but you understand that's not my claim, though. I hope you understand.
No. I just had to ask you. No, I just had to ask you because everyone talks about.
I don't agree with that. Just to make sure there's no misunderstanding, I don't agree that the Niger Congo languages are closer to the Mennonite than the Coptic, as far as I'm concerned.
No. I had to ask you that. I had to ask you that question because when people talk, even yourself, y'all don't know the methodology that established Niger Congo. Even you.
I don't. It's
right.
True.
So let's go to it. So what is the methodology? Have anybody asked that question?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, when I hear claims coming from pseudo, I don't pay much mind. But the trouble is that our people love to repeat stuff that they've heard just because they like somebody. And
so what about you though?
It seems cut like. Oh, I don't pay much mind because I know that the Coptic is the latest phase, the latest stage of the Medu nature. I don't even see how some other languages, will be closer to the Coptic. So to me, it doesn't even make sense in the first place.
Oh, but so you just totally rule it out? You don't? I'll rule
it out. To me, the Coptic is the latest phase, the latest stage. I don't see how Niger Congo languages or the languages that fall under this dubious phylum will be closer to the Coptic. To me, it's definitely.
Actually, I disagree. I disagree with you, Professor Jope, in a scientific. Let me tell you about the history of Professor Jope.
I don't see how another language will be closer to the latest phase of the Medu nature. I'm about
to tell you now. You let me tell you by peer-reviewed data, because I have peer-reviewed data. I don't use no data that's hearsay. I would tell you how closer. As a linguist, you have to know the range of how to gauge what's the methodology to gauge what's close and what's not close. See,
but closer, however, closer. Close. I don't mind.
Hey, man, let me build, bro. You got me on your channel. Let me build.
Yeah.
You're not a linguist, so I don't expect you to know these questions I'm asking you. So what I'm saying is for the audience is that methodology is the key. What is the methodology that establishes that Coptic is closer? So what I'm saying is I'm not ruling out that the hypothetical languages that make up the dubious phylum of Niger Congo are not closer. It's just that no scientific evidence has been peer-reviewed to change that standing. As a scientist, I don't rule out because I feel some way about this knowledge. I say that it haven't been done yet. But in one instance, it has. We have to look at Dr. Jope's 1977 work that was scientifically accepted. He showed morphological forms. See, this is why I tell you is that establishing a relationship with each other, it has to be done two ways, by phonology and what? It's another. It's phonology and morphology. Phonology is the sounds of the languages that forms a genetic relationship. Morphology is the skeleton, what builds the language, the grammar of it, how it attaches, how prefixes attaches, suffixes, and how the languages operate. So morphologically, Walla, I would say, is actually closer. And I would say that because of the morphological evidence that was presented by Dr. Joe. He actually showed every form of Shedemnef forms. He showed sound correspondences just as Coptic. So the thing is that I agree with you that scientifically that there is no language that is closer than Coptic right now, because scientifically it hasn't been no peer review work. Everybody's arguing on YouTube and not trying to answer these questions that you're bringing forward. What is closer? What is not closer? We have to do the scientific data to establish that in peer review systems. So that was my whole point of me asking you and telling you all of this. Now, as far as Niger Congo in Coptic, to me, the African languages are very more closer than Coptic. As far as distance, how do we measure distance in linguistics? What methodology do we use? Okay, for distance, we use what we call a lexico-statistic methodology. I'm going to say it again, lexico-statistics. So what we do is measure cognates and do percentages to see what languages hypothetically of what we consider is closer and hypothetically of what we consider was not closer. No one in the planet Earth has done this. So that's why I say no language right now is closer than Coptic. Coptic would be the most, present, is the descendant, etc. Into future research come down the line to falsify it, either to be correct or incorrect.
I get it. Now, you mentioned the word cognate, which made me think about something that I've heard. I've heard someone claim that Allah, the name for the deity Allah, is in the Egyptian text.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say about that?
What peer reviewed data says that?
Mm.
You know?
No, I'm not aware of any peer review data.
Anybody in the audience know that
Mm.
chose Allah in any scientific? See, this is what I mean. But where is the peer reviewed data? Where's the scientific work, the body of work that establishes scientifically from linguists, from those who work in this field, as myself, to establish that? It's nowhere.
So then, if we should have standard, and that goes for any field, I guess we need to ask the specialists. So my stance is that whoever claims, well, you're appealing to authority, you're referring to authority, I see it as a cop out. I see it as an escape route. What is wrong with asking the experts, the specialists, the PhDs?
Nothing.
I personally don't see anything wrong with that.
Right.
And just like Brother Chris said, Anthony Harris, indeed, if someone says, I believe and I agree with everything that PhD says just because he's a PhD, that's something else. But we're not talking about one PhD. We're talking about the consensus. We're talking about the majority of the scholars. Of course, they don't agree on everything. There's no absolute consensus. But for example, with the word chem, we can safely say that the majority of Egyptologists will translate it as black.
Kim is just not only translated as black.
Not only, indeed.
It is a homograph. It has many forms.
Mm.
When it's used as an adjective, can anybody in the world tell me when Kim is used as an adjective in any scientific journal? We can test me now. You can put it in test net. Can anybody show me when it's a adjective? What does it mean? So, it's easy for me. An adjective is a what? See, it's a color. Adjective. See? So when Kim is used as an adjective, as a primary adjective, as a Nisbe adjective, as an adjective noun, because why? According to James P. Allen, 2014, adjectives can what? This is peer-reviewed data from Cambridge. See, I'm giving you things that's standard. And what's standard is that adjectives can function as every type of noun. Do anybody disagree with that? Does anybody disagree that an adjective can function and go through declensions Like every single noun in Medu Netra. A adjective, Kim, can be any form of a noun. And also, the oldest form is a primary adjective. Can anybody argue with me that that don't mean black? No,
Well,
no one, right?
we
So when it
will.
comes to completion, what type of word class is completion? See that? So we go to grammar, the basics of the skeleton of language. Completion, is it used as a primary adjective? If so, can someone show me a primary? Because I have all my primaries ready for this channel. Can someone show me a primary adjective where it is used as completion? Right.
All right.
See what I mean?
Now tell me, brother, would you like for us to take some callers?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, I require people to show their face because when people are anonymous and unidentified, there's no accountability. We're not doing anything illegal. I can understand that people don't want to show their face. It's on them. They can, oh, we have some connection issues. If you can hear me, brother Neb, either the connection, okay, it looks like there it is. Okay, you're back on now, brother. So, I can understand if people don't want to show their face. They have their reasons. They can stick to the chat. And otherwise, everybody's welcome. Be respectful, and even if you disagree, it's fine. So I'm going to share the link in the chat. Invite link. And I'm going to pin the message. And I'm going to share again. Because on the YouTube, it will not show at the bottom. There it is. So feel free, brothers and sisters. We have Netaneb. You are free to ask your questions. You are free to make your comments. Whether you agree or disagree is fine. Let's have a decorum, like some say. Let's be diplomatic. Let's be cordial. You know, feel free. I can already see some complaints in the chat about some people who don't want to show their face. And you don't have to. There's no obligation. We should use these tools that we have at our disposal. It is 2022. We go a long way. We go from the era of the message boards. And now we are in what we considered the future back then. So it's much quicker. And after the message board, then we had the radio broadcast online. Hey, it looks like it's Brother Reggie. Hotep Sen.
Hotep, how are y'all?
Chilling. Feel free to speak, brother.
Well, I'm glad that you are featuring Saba Netaneb. Um, for the people that's in the chat, Netaneb is respected, and you can get references for Netaneb by our teacher, Dr. Riketti Amin, by Banachi Montgomery, by Dr. Cambone. Uh, Dr. Mario Beatty is familiar with his work. Netaneb's work is accepted. The people who are oftentimes adversaries to uh, Seba Netaneb, uh, they don't have references. The problem is that when you ask them for references, they just babble, right? And Netanyahu is handling a very difficult issue, and the issue is the usage of Kim. And Kim seems to operate differently than all other adjectives. Uh, uh, and Netanyahu does have primaries, and one of the important primaries that he has that is almost unbreakable is the black Sabi, the black man Sabi, um, sometimes called Sabi the Black. And the period in which this appears is a very important uh, period. And then we have other names, uh, uh, Kim C, Kim Set, Kimez, uh, Kimware, a number of them. Each of these names, even if they are names, they still operate within uh, Egyptian grammar. Now, Netaneb knows Old Kingdom uh, Egyptian grammar, which is different than the Middle Kingdom Egyptian grammar that a lot of people think that they use properly. But some of these things that we are testing, we first see them in Old Kingdom, and so we have to test it in Old Kingdom. Uh, and then test it in other time periods, Middle Kingdom, and then Netaneb is accurate when he tests it with Demotic, and then he further tests it with Coptic. That's outstanding. Uh, Most people don't have to grasp to be able to do that because they even exclude Coptic, even though Coptic was necessary for the decipherment of the Medu Neter. And then they do something even more terrible. Once we know that it was the language was phonographic, that it gave sounds, it allowed Africans on the continent to test their languages against what we call Metuneta, right? Without the Champonian method, uh, 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 increased by Lepsius, uh, using Coptic, using Champollion's method, then Africans on the continent now can test their languages for uh, loan words, associated words, and that is the meaning of our work. So I'll stop. I wanted to say to the people first, if you want to counter what Netanyahu has said, first we asked you to show a primary that doesn't work. So you can go and you can test it with Sebi the Black. You can test it in the Winnis when they are talking about Kemet as the Black Bull. And then you can test it, test the relationships if you want. So show your primaries. So anybody who wants to say that Netanyahu is inaccurate, test your primaries. And I heard the argument about Pepe Ankh Kim meaning Pepe Ankh the Black, but I uh, talked to Casual and I talked to Netaneb, and first you have to translate what does Pepe Ankh Kim mean, and find you have to translate that surname, and they'll say, well, it's difficult to translate surnames. Uh, yeah, but you can get reasonable translations. So when you say Pepe on Kim, does it function? It's in the same period as Sebi Kim. Does it function the same way? Right? So do you get what do you get Pepe meaning like the builder, right? Do you get Ankh the living, and then you get the black? Give me a reasonable translation. A reasonable translation just can't be Pepe the Builder living the black. You get the black Pepe who's living. So get and first of all, before you even do this, you have to know some. You have to know some Medu Necha. And if our teachers are saying that's Dr. Richetti Amen and Brother Bonacci, if they are in agreement, what counter do you have? So I'll stop because Netanyahu is doing a very accurate, and he's a very hard person because he sticks to the rules. And what happens is when we argue these points, we have people who don't know the rules. They say that the rules of Kemet or some Bantu rules or some proto rules, that's that doesn't carry any weight. When you're dealing with Medu Neter, you have to deal with only Medu Neter rules, right? And so I will stop. Maybe NeterNet will show some primaries because all the talk, that's when the rubber meets the road, right? The talk is the primaries. They have never shown any examples. They've only shown imaginary thought or just saying we don't know what the translation is or names can't be translated. I'll stop.
All
Okay,
right.
I
Feel
agree
free
with
to leave.
everything Baba Reggie has said. Baba Reggie was. I asked my teacher, Dr. Ricchetti, uh, one day on assistance. I wanted her to assist me with the etymology of the Kim glyph because the only way we can get to an etymology of the Kim glyph is that we have to apply historical linguistics and then we have to apply Coptic. That has to be applied first. When you go to Dr. Theophile Benga's peer-reviewed journal, what does he compare with African languages? First, Coptic. When we go to Dr. Ngom's peer-reviewed paper on him comparing Cameroonian languages with Medu Neter, what does Professor Ngom compare in a peer-reviewed paper? Coptic. You cannot skip past Coptic. It must be in your comparative analysis. Coptic is the living descendant of Egyptian, as my brother Shaka has stated. But the only way we can say, oh, Coptic is this is not closer than this, and this is not closer. I must see peer-reviewed data. If you don't have that, then I can't apply it. I'm not ruling it out. I'm sure Dr. Reggie can explain because he has a BS in science. He's an actual scientist, really. He try to plays himself down, but he's an actual scientist. He has a BS degree in science, Bachelor of Science, and he understands the philosophy of science, which is falsibility. If you can't falsify a claim, when you make a claim in the philosophy of science, when you make a claim, it has to be falsifiable. Either you falsify it to be true, or you falsify it to be false. So thus for when we look at here, we can look at this primary duplication. And you see my arrow is here. His name is mentioned here, Henny Kim. The Kim, as we see, comes after his name. But in Old Egyptian, things are omitted most of the time. So we may have to go to the oldest. And when we go to the oldest, we see that these names has a determinative of the A1. What is the A1 determinative and what does indicating? See, so it's indicating clearly that
The seated one.
this is a human being, this is a person, and when you see the Kim glyph coming after, as you see here, the Kim glyph, that is in a grammatical form called an adjective modifier. I want anyone to show right now. You have the stage. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna be mean because Baba Reggie here, he's gonna get on me if I be mean. So I'm gonna be quiet and not say anything. Can anyone show me where this Kim functioning as an adjective modifier, a primary adjective, in James P. Allen, 2014 grammar book from Cambridge? This is an adjective modifier. Can anyone show me where completion? This means completion. Okay, so no one, right? Silence. So we have to go by grammar. The grammar rules say this is a what, Shaka? What is this construction? Shaka.
Well, if you ask me to break it down
You don't have to read the whole
according to the
thing, just
field of,
the name here.
oh, you want me to just read it?
No, not the whole thing, but just the bottom where my arrow, his name, Henny, and then he has Kim.
Well, I cannot really see the Greece, but if it's Henny Cam, then I will
I'll
translate
make
it
it
as Henny
bigger.
the Black.
I'll make
Yes.
it bigger. Hold up, hold up, hold up. I'll make it bigger.
Oh, okay, that's the ripple, the water wave. Okay. Yes, Henny Cam. You know,
No, hold up, hold
after,
up, hold up. No, no, no,
yeah,
no,
okay.
no, no, no. Uh, you said Henny Kim, right? That's your transliteration. Henny Kim. I
That
accept
was a,
that.
oh, mm,
I accept that. Henny Kim. Now, when I'm saying, okay, this is Henny Kim, what construction is that in grammar?
well, couldn't really tell you.
This is what they call a primary adjective. Kim follows the noun, it modifies in grammar. See? So this is a personal name, as Dr. Reggie stated. It's personal name. It normally has the man glyph, but this is omitted in this instance because Old Egyptian normally omits the determinative. Most of the time, Old Egyptian doesn't have a determinative. So thus for Middle Egyptian will have more determinative being seen than actual Middle Old Egyptian in some cases. So in this case, the man determinative is not seen. We're going to go to Sebi of the Black next, and we're going to see a man determinative after the name. So that means that that's an ideogram, a determinative, the A1 glyph. So after the name comes Kim. That is a what we call in grammar, right? Grammar, a adjective modifier, or you can call it a primary adjective. You could call it a qualifier. You can say that this adjective qualifies the noun. This is Medu Nature Grammar 101. That's why it means Henny the Black or the Black Henny. I like how Dr. Reggie does it, the Black Henny or Henny the Black or Henny the Black Man. Either way, it is a descriptive term and it's not a title. Titles are before the adjective. Titles are inside the name, the range of the name in grammar. Titles don't come after as an adjective modifier. That it doesn't work like that. This is a adjective modifier. All scholars, European and Black, translates this as Henny the Black.
All right. And are there any other stuff you would like to share on the screen?
I would like to share this book because I don't want to know why think I'm all crazy. Uh, I will share a book called "The Problems and the Classifications of the African Languages" that was shared by actually Dr. Theophile Benga in UNESCO. So Dr. Theophile Benga shared this, and this was his reason to establish Negro Egyptian linguistics. This was his reason for placing Negro Egypt, Niger Congo, Nilo-Saharan, and other languages from Afro-Asiatic inside what he classifies as Negro Egyptian. Why is Negro Egyptian valid? Because its problems, as you see, this is a scientific book. This is created by Afro-Asiatic linguists themselves. Istvan Fodor is one of the top historical linguists in the world at that time. Dr. Theophile Benga showed this book and sourced it in UNESCO. This was in his bibliography. This is called The Problems in the Classifications of the African Languages. All Greenberg African languages have problems. Why? Because of the methodology of it. The methodology is that Medu Neter is not scientifically related to none of these languages as far as Afro-Asiatic, for Semitic. But the African languages is probability, and that's why in linguistics we say putative. Putative is a hypothetical belief that these languages are related, so that will make us compare them scientifically. So as we see this text here, so people won't say I'm crazy. Oh, Niger Congo ain't real. None of that is crazy. Well, Dr. Theophile Benga shared this easily, and this is a top linguist, and it clearly says the problems and the classifications of the African languages. All of them have problems. All of the language classifications that we see. So that's all. I wanted to get that.
And it looks like Reggie would like you to share Black Sabi Old Egyptian.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I said it. This work on the adjective noun was given to me by Bob Reggie, actually. Let's see.
See, callers, seems you never seize the opportunity when it's time. But after the live stream, we will have some Twitter fingers breaking stuff down.
Great. So here's Old Kingdom text. So now we can kind of see it. I'm gonna make it at least a little bigger. All right, this is TLA. All right, the inscriptions of Sinai. This is the oldest ever. And I'm going to share the regular inscription, a duplicate inscription next. And it says this was TLA's. As y'all see, TLA had the black man at first, but they took out the man. But it's still all good. It's still Sabi the Black. But this was TLA original transliteration. And these are the sources of it. Misha Shad Sarda. Misha Shad Sarda is his title. Titles come before. So his title is before. Sabi is the personal name. And you see equals E. E is a man glyph. That's where they get the E. So they use a different transliteration schema. And then you have Kim. Comes after. This comes after the ideogram of man, indicating that this is a black man. So I will share the actual inscription. Hold on.
But the Reggie wrote they won't come on. They never research the primaries. They are transactional. Only after they get our research.
Well, really, like Baba Reggie stated, it doesn't even matter. They're not peer reviewed. Baba Reggie is a peer reviewed scholar. I'm going to share Baba Reggie's peer reviewed paper as well because he had very important points that I deem scientists should pay attention to. But here, let's go here. I'm going to go to his second because his is stronger. His is actually scientifically scrutinized, whereas this is just reviewed by my teacher. It's a difference. This is sort of like a dissertation. Dissertations really are not the gold standard. I just want people to know that. Just because you got a dissertation, you got a PhD, doesn't mean your dissertation is gold standard because it haven't went through a peer review. Anything that's peer review is even further than dissertations, according to science. But let me continue here. So I upgraded, adjusted this text. And you see Sabi Kim right here. I made it right there. Let's go down. We're going to look at the text of Sabi Kim.
Is there any chance to make it larger?
Yep. But make it large for people. Let's see something. Sometimes I could. Yeah. Okay. Is it large here?
It's better if maybe you can make it slightly larger. That would be best. But so far so good.
Okay. All right. Hope that is. Sorry. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So we're looking at a duplications from Sinai Wadi Magada. This information was given to me by Dr. Reggie and Baba Reggie. I call him Doctor. He don't like to be called Doctor. But Baba Reggie, a very good researcher, who my teacher, Professor, Dr. Ricchetti, told me to look into, and he gave me sources for the adjective modifier. When I looked into it, I say, well, as a historical linguist, I have to know the oldest. even with comparing languages, we must at least try to get the oldest if we can. Then we must deal with contemporary, which I already know, of course. But as we see these duplications here, rock inscription at Sinai. This is a rock inscription at Sinai. And we find something that's different here. And what's different here is the man glyph. Y'all see that man glyph that come after the name. His name is Sabi. And if you look here, I'm going to start here, and we would say Misha. See, Misha, Sabi, Sabi, Sar. See, well, Shahad Sar. Misha, Sahad, Sar. Meaning the expedition member, or it can mean overseer of officials, whoever with interpretations. But we know that this literally means this is his title. This whole register up top is his title. Now, when we go to the bottom, we find Sebi, and we see a man glyph. That man glyph is an indication that this is a human being, unless y'all want me to go to Gartner and we have to find out what the man glyph actually means. I wouldn't
That's
mind
fine.
doing it.
That's A1. But someone is asking, is there any way for you to use a pointer?
Oh, yeah, that would be better. Sorry. Yeah, you're correct. Sorry about that. Is this better here? Do y'all see my pointer here?
Yeah, we can see it, yes.
Okay, so here, apologize about that. You have Misha here. You see this man holding a staff, Misha. And you have Sahaj. You see this? Haj, Sa. So it's Misha, Sahaj, Sar. This is his title. And you see it in a determinative to indicate, yeah, this is his title. Expedition member, in which the TLA, Baba Reggie may have a different interpretation of the translation, which is acceptable. You, Brother Shaka, may have a different translation, interpretation, but all of us will have kind of like a related polysemous type of translation because it all means the same. We know that this is a title, these words, this is expedition. You could say whatever name that can be relatable in English. And you have Shahad, you have the S here, Sahaj, and then you have S and R, Sir. This is his title. You don't see Kim in his title. So now we're going to the second, which is S, Sab. Sab. See? Sab or Shab or Shabi. Or but they say Sabi. Right? And by them saying Sabi, what is Sabi? Is this a title? We know this is not a title because why? We find an ideogram of a seated man. In Old Egyptian. This is Old Egyptian. This seated man, what does the seated man mean here? In back of his name. This means something. It's not just there for nothing. And then you see the Kim glyph here. Y'all see the round with the line. This is Kim. Sabi E Kim. Really, I don't think we should use this, but they actually put this in transliteration, which makes me think it means black man. Because if they are putting this in transliteration as an ideogram, then Kim comes after and is acting as an adjective modifier. We know this is an adjective modifier. Why? Grammar rules. When adjective follow nouns, what are the grammar rules for adjective following nouns? And the grammar rules for adjective following nouns is that they must be primary adjectives and that they match in what? Gender. This is masculine. So that means Kim is masculine. That's why you see no feminine. In number, this is singular. So you wouldn't find no plurality here. So primary adjectives, according to James P. Allen and Gartner's grammar book, which is the standard in Egyptian grammar, matches in form and number. It's a primary adjective. It follows the noun it modifies, indicating that Sabi his name, E, a man, is black. Anybody else offers a different transliteration and translation? Feel welcome.
It's consistent. It's consistent. Tech Lee saying thanks. Well, that's lovely. I really hope that you will reach your planned achievement in your studies. What I'm going to do is to ask Reggie if he has any closing statements, closing remarks, and then I will let Neb have the last word. So, Brother Reggie, feel free if you have any closing remarks.
Well, I think this is an accurate, unimpeachable demonstration of first Old English, sorry, Old Ancient Egyptian grammar. It's within the period that we have later Old Egyptian inscriptions. It follows the same grammar rules, right? It is, in this particular case, like Pepiant Kim, it is masculine. It follows the formula, right? Um, Sabi we could translate itself as a knife, maybe. So ancient Egyptians, uh, they are the objects that they say that they are, right? So even if you wanted to translate it as the black knife, who Sabi may represent, right? As if you translate Kim the collective, Kemet the collective people, and Kemet the collective cattle. It follows the same formula. The people who try to attack Saber Necheneb's work, they are always transactional. They wait for us to bring the primaries. They never bring the primaries first, and then we bring the primaries, and then they're transactional. Then they try to say something else. But in this particular case, you have the man determinative, and that sinks this case. And so when you have Pepe Aunt Kenny Kim or uh, Pepe Aunt Kim, it follows the same formula in the same period. And then you have what I'll come on one day for a short and show you some of my work. But the fact of the matter is, Winnis says that he is the Sid Kim Sat Sid Kemet. Same formula. So these the detractors are again transactional. They never show their primaries. They never show the primaries as an example. All they just do is attack. But we are a people who are notoriously for attacking our own and downgrading our people's hard work. And so when you see a scholar who is, I won't say young, but I'll say young scholar because I'm 57, he's a little younger than me. When you see exceptional work, what you try to do is you try to compare yourself to him, compare yourself to his work, knock down his credentials, knock down his associations, because that's the people that we are. But when we ask to see your great work, your publications, your citations, your teachers, your references, we don't get any. So Netaneb is accepted by my teacher, Dr. Riketti, who worked with Dr. Sheka Ante Diop, who knows Dr. Theophilo Benga. His work is accepted by Dr. Mario Beatty, who is a student of Dr. Theophilo Benga. That's where he got his PhD from Temple. Accepted by Benachi Montgomery, and accepted by other scholars. Now, our adversaries, intellectual adversaries, they have no acceptance, no peer reviewed, and Netanyahu is being nice because he can show where people's work was rejected.
Do y'all want to see it? I can show work. It's up to the host.
Feel free, feel free. But I've
Get
shared the
your
link
popcorn.
in the
Get, get,
description of
get,
the.
get your popcorn, because the problem is one is you put something forward and then it gets rejected and there's a record. The fact you could say whatever you want to say, it was just rejected. If my work is rejected, then I
Correct.
have to go back and retool,
Thank
right?
you.
So it's up to Net and Neb and you, Shaka, if you want to see acceptance and rejections. And that will knock out all of the haters. I don't know where all of the other day someone called Brother Reggie pseudo. His work is not scientific. I've never seen a presentation from this dude. Matter of fact, the dude uses someone else's work to make his point. I've never seen a presentation, but I worked at the Schoenberg Center for Research in Black Culture. I worked with Dr. John Henry Clark. I worked with Dr. Joseph Benjo Cannon, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, right? I got a bachelor's degree in computer science and an honors award from in the Department of Black Studies. I worked with Dr. James Turner at the Schomburg, right? And a whole host of scholars. But my life work ain't shit when it comes to black people's nasty critiques, right? It ain't nothing. So anyway, continue that and that.
Seems that people love entertainment more than scholarly work.
Right. So here is what me and Dr. Reggie, Dr. Obadeli Cambone, Dr. Nazir Sadi, Dr. Richetti Almond, Dr. Theophile Benyon, and 30 other hosts of sciences that I'm around that a lot of people on this side don't know about. We already know that Kemet means black people by grammar. That's old to us. That's very old news. Dr. Theophile Benyon already established that. Dr. Joke already established these things. Now we further in the process. I'm going to show a slew of peer-reviewed data. One, I'm going to show Mines, and then I'm going to show Baba Reggie's. Mines is accepted, organized by the Center for Critical Thinking, Resourceful Research, Africa, Sectra, Abuja, in collaboration with the Department of History and Archaeology, University of Abomey, Calavi, Republic of Benin. Acceptance of abstract. See? I write on behalf of the organizers of the Second Outstanding African Thinkers Conference to inform you that your abstract's title, Analyzing the Historical Evolution and Chronology of Kemetu Blacks as Self-Identification Throughout the Negro Egyptian Languages to Inspire a Pan-African Ethnic Identity. Ethnicity and genetics is two different things. Our ethnicity can be black. We can say we the orange men for our ethnicity. Ethnicity don't have to be genetical or any other. It's your personal thing, just as Baba Reggie was implying with those cattle groups in Kemet, is that they were saying they was the black ram. Dude, I will run you over, dog. I'm the black ram. I'm the black knife, my dude. But they were saying that they were black too. Just like how we do in rap music, in rap culture. We say, yo, I'm the black Huey P. No, not black Huey P. Newton. You know he was considered black. But I'm just saying that, even though he was admixture, but I'm just saying that we would say I'm the black Donald Trump. I'm the black in a rap. We might put X Casual. He'd say, I'm the black Putin. Get the Putin. I'm the black Putin. Same difference. You saying you the black ram. You saying you the black this. I am black. My skin is black. In Coptic, people's skin were black, and they used the term ukimi, the article u, and then they use kimi. I am black. It's in Coptic. It's in Demotic. Remetkim, black person. It's in the collective form, which Baba Reggie showed me with. If you're going to translate the black cow with the collective operation, but then get the Kemet, you're choosing your arguments at random now. Now, in one instance, you apply grammar rule, but then in another instance, you don't. So, that's not fair. So here's my work on Kemet. We're trying to make Kemetu a actual name, a ethnic name for all blacks, because this is where our name of calling ourselves black originated from. So my work is accepted, as y'all see, and we about to go to Baba Reggie's work. Someone said he's don't have no scholarship. The measure of scholarship to me is the gold standard. The gold standard is peer review. What you're looking at here is Baba Reggie's work. Peer review. Peer review work. It's an abstract. Peer review. Rigorous peer review. He submitted this work on Kemp. Submitted it. I agree with it. I like it. I like it because it's different. I like it because it's peer review. I can trust it. I'm not going to say trust it as believe, but I can say, yo, that's official. Either we build from it or we don't. See, so his work is peer reviewed on the topic. Where are the others? So if you want me to share more peer reviews, oh, I will. I have peer reviews where people got rejected. And as Baba Reggie said, I was rejected 5 times from a journal. I was rejected for not writing properly. I mean, look, you talking to someone who was rejected more times than probably you had sex in your whole life. No, literally, I was rejected from journals more times than you probably had sex in your whole life. I'm going to tell you, Einstein was rejected. Look up his history. Every scientist get rejected. That's not the issue. The issue is getting rejected and then saying, yo, forget all of these scientists that's rejecting me here. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to teach that Medu nature is Bantu. I'm going to teach that Hebrews are in Kemet. I'm going to teach that Allah is in the hieroglyphs. I'm going to teach Kemet means riparian land masses. I'm going to teach, the regular. You can do what you want to do when you're not going through that rigorous process as this paper has. So that's why this paper made Kadika and a BB to me. I shared it on both platforms because it went through a hard, vigorous peer review, which is deemed the gold standard. Everything in peer review is not accurate. It don't supposed to be. That's why it's called what, Baba Reggie? Science. Science supposed to be falsified. You're supposed to falsify science to make it true or false. See?
Well, that's lovely. That's lovely.
All right, so let's just go to someone else's peer review real quick. I just want to do very quick.
Go ahead.
The reason why I want to do it because I want y'all to understand what C-class research is. When you go to a peer review, they consider your work C-class. That means your work is non-scientific. It has no scientific standing. Unless if you get rejected from there, that don't mean you should stop. You should try other peer journals that can assist you and that can help you. Only reason why this guy work is not accepted because he is manipulating grammar rules. He makes up grammar rules, and this is the problem. Europeans definitely ain't going for that. That's why they not going for. They may agree with him for it to be riparian land, but they not going for the grammar issues and make that journal look bad. You're trying to say that Kemet means riparian land. That is your argument with no grammar examples. You're doing plagiarism. You're taking from TLA sources. You're not writing correctly. You have bad grammar, misspellings. Everybody have that. But when it's time to submit, you got to clear that thing. You can ask Baba Reggie. Even myself, you have to clear it up. No matter, you have to clear up that you can't go to round 1 without those factors, in-text citations correctly, bibliography on point, It's a lot of issues, man. Paragraphs not being indented, spacing on the side. It's not just your hypothesis. It's how you're structuring your paper, et cetera, et cetera. This thing go deep with this peer review data. That's why a lot of people don't do it. So Asarm Hotep tried to get his work peer reviewed. The guy tried. He tried to get the Sumerian stuff because he don't even like Coptic. He uses, Sumerian is hyper. I ain't gonna laugh. I ain't gonna mess up the Sumerian people. But everyone knows that Sumerian is hypothetical.
It's isolated.
We don't know how Sumerian sounds. They don't know how Sumerian sounds. Sumerian is a linguistic isolate. This is known in the standard. First of all, to compare Sumerian with Meta Nature, first of all, you will have to prove that Sumerian is not an isolate. You have to change that standing first. Then you have to compare the Sumerian with Meta Nature. Then you have to reconstruct Sumerian transliteration. So Sumerian got its transliteration system from Akkadian. Go to any grammar book, they will tell you that the phonology of Sumerian is hypothetical. They don't know. So thus for he have a tall task when you're trying to compare Sumerian with African languages. You're saying that Sumerian is not an isolate, and all of these scholars all over the world is lying. So thus for you have to prove it in scientific publications. This is why no one will accept his work. And I'm about to show you here. Let's see. We're about to go to his work. And I'm not doing this in no meanness. I just have to show people, man. It just have to be done. Dr. Reggie's work, they saying he don't have no work. Here's his peer review. His work is to a peer review journal. Look it up. Go to the journal, see if you can submit something and see what happened. See that? So this is obviously original research by someone going by the pseudonym. His name is pseudo Asarm Hotep. All right. They got I like to have some input from linguistics experts here, like Kwame Gami. That's who peer reviewed this data. A linguistic expert. This is a legitimate peer review. Let's see what this linguist said. You see, they mention up in Sumerian, and we see this in Sumerian, and the Sumerian, and this is him really doing sock puppetry as another person. But the Sumerian and other, who talks like this, really? The Sumerian and other African languages are lexically poor, but each lexical root is conceptually rich. As these languages built, we know that's Asarm Hotep. Who talks like this, right? So as we go down, this is what a linguist said. This is Wikipedia. I mean, to improve the quality of the article. Y'all see this? Hope y'all see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Oh,
you can see it. Yes.
It says, to improve the quality of the article, we need to be very clear that this is pseudoscience. Or in colloquial speech, bullshit. Wow. Now, he did some things that I didn't agree with when you're doing a public peer review, man. I mean, no lie, I just kind of didn't like him doing that. But at the same time, I understand that with Dr. Baba Reggie go through, I mean, someone calling you don't have work, but you go through the hard process of getting your work peer reviewed. And then someone just out of the blue make up some stuff and get it self-published and things like that. Yeah, you're going to come off a certain way, man. You know, all of us got rejected in journals before, but we kept at it. See? So we're going to feel some type of way about this. So it says, the real question, though, is whether it's notable. Do y'all understand what that means? Notable mean what? After all, we have articles on all sort of pseudo-scientific nonsense, such as astrology. See that? Y'all can continue to read the linguist's comments. He even made here. Yes, Daniel, I publish books that are WorldCat and in the Cornell University Library, but definitely a fringe theory and not something I would try to create an article here on. Wikipedia for, nor for myself or my co-author, not unless it's starting to get cited by mainstream sources. See, so that's why I say that sometimes you can skip past a degree if your work it have real experience, and you can get credit from universities from your experience. That is true. Now it says I've also put a ton of work into an article that was deemed too much detail, not notable enough for Wikipedia, and was moved elsewhere. In that case, a stub was left because there was significant coverage in the media, but almost all my work was removed. It happens. He's trying to tell Assam Hotep, who was going under another name in sock puppetry, that, yo, it happens. All of us get rejected. See, that's the issue here. The issue is that it's not that you're getting rejected. It's that when you're rejected, you are still teaching it. Instead of not even teaching it at all until you change the standing, and then teach it after your work is peer reviewed. That's our issue. The issue is not the rejection. The issue is you are teaching this for 11 years. You're teaching Sumerian is this without doing the work to change what Sumerian is scientifically. That is a problem. Dr. Obinga proved to people in this text here that the African languages have problems, which give us credence to establish a hypothetical Negro-Egyptian language problem. So that's all I really have to say.
So we had apparently a decade of falsehood, and my art is truth. Let's hope that we will be geared more towards truth, and everybody's free to make their arguments. But indeed, there's some methodology and demonstration needs to be made and accepted. But thank you very much.
I would like to add before you close just a note. When
Feel
you
free.
do a publication, if you could hear me, when you do a publication, your sources, you're actually arguing sources and making minor points. So what happens is that your sources have to complement the little bit of analysis that you are making, whether it's innovative or if it's extending the work, right? Or getting to the possible meanings. So you have to add enough uh, legitimate citations of other people's accepted peer-reviewed work, and that's the method of Netanyahu, to begin to make possible conclusions about what you're saying. So you just can't babble, 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 babble. And I'm not talking about Asar Imhotep. I'm just talking in general. You can't babble, babble, babble. Almost every sentence, every few sentences has to be cited. So it's like a perfect song. If that formula is not followed, and there's a break in that, a significant break, then a reviewer will seize upon that to say that where did that come from, right? You have to prove that. So if you're writing and writing is painful, is tedious, is murderous, like
Yes.
you lose your breath, right? You write, you rewrite, but you have to be cautious about babbling and then trying to make conclusions that are not there. It has to be aligned with, and very few people. My article on Kemet is probably the second journal article after Asa Hilliard wrote an article on Kemet. Prior to that, it was only really Shekanta Diop's work and Obanga's work in UNESCO. And listen, I could be wrong, but my sources are tightly cited. So if Kemet collective people is not equivalent to Kemet collective cattle, you're going to have to prove otherwise. If you're going to say Kemet is riparian or Kemet means something else, the determinatives say exactly what it is. In my sense, collective cattle, I know it's collective cattle because there is the cattle with the plural, right? And so I know what we're talking about. So this is it's painful, and it's not the death of any particular scholar or anyone trying to, because I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to say that it has to be rewritten in accordance, because what happens if it's accepted, you have then there's no standard. Then it's just simply favoritism, and that's what was happening with Petrie's work,
Mm.
and but those days are over. So there you have it. If anyone else wants to come on at a later presentation to dispute what Neb has said, they must come on with old Egyptian inscriptions and scholars to say that it doesn't say what the TLA has said, Waterbush has said, etc., and say it might mean something else. And so until that work is done, everything else is just YouTube disagreement. But when it comes to scientific, scholarly work, uh, Netanyahu has shown his primaries, and they are accepted. And we have a couple of pits for people to fall in if they want to challenge it. So with that said, I will end my comments. I'm not trying to be mean spirited, but I found that many people have tried to reject Netanyahu's work, Saba Netanyahu's work, because he is just so rigid and hardline and forces you to stick to grammar rules. And people don't want to do that. And Netanyahu is not necessarily nice to me neither. So and I have to absorb what he's saying. And he's not nice to none of his other teachers. Netanyahu just wants to see what the rule, why you're saying it, where's the source, and then he'll get off your neck. But that's just Netanyahu. So, but we're used to that in dealing with scholars. So, with that, I hope my comments were helpful.
Thank you, brother Reggie. Now, Nazaneb, feel free to make your closing remarks, brother.
Well, I enjoyed the show, and thank you, brother, with the beautiful French voice. Appreciate you, brother Shaka. I actually enjoy your videos. I watch you. You was part of my growth and development. You may don't even know, man. I used to watch you, and I was proud. I was like, you got me into trying to be better, like talk better and a lot of stuff, yo. I'm not gonna lie, man. I wanted to meet you for probably like 8 years, not well, probably 8 to 6 years ago. I wanted to meet you and build with you and stuff like that. Shaka and Dougal, right?
Yeah, Shakandugu Kemet.
Yeah, man. I used to like that name, and no joke, I used to have your videos playing for my daughters and stuff. So I appreciate you, man, and I apologize if I come off the way I come off, but I only deal with grammar. You can't. If you're trying to say something else, then it's a problem. I look at that as an issue. If we can't prove nothing, like if we have a book, a scientific peer-reviewed data here, and it says what that say, brother? Just for your audience.
The problems in the classification of the African languages.
Then it's a problem. It's a problem. It's not nothing to be arguing about. It's either we look at this problem, either falsify it to be true. So we have to prove that Niger Congo is true, which no one has done yet. We have to prove that Afro-Asiatic is true. No one done that yet. And we have to prove that Nilo-Saharan is true. No one done it yet. It's 2022. These problems were created a long time ago. They are problems. So here comes Dr. Theophile Benga, who says, look, it's issues in these language classifications. So that gives us credence to form what he calls Negro Egyptian to make it analogous to Indo-European. And what he mean by that is that Indo-European languages, the method is what is the method that I use, which is the comparative linguistic method in comparing languages using the correct methodology. The correct methodology is demonstrating sound correspondences, sound laws, and reconstruction. So you have to, with the extant languages, now as you prove the genetic languages, you will have to reconstruct Medu Neter itself, because the transliterations from Gardner is not accurate. We know this because peer-reviewed data says it's not accurate. Every grammar book tells you that transliterations are not the sound of the language. It's not to be pronounced. Every grammar book in the world teaches this. So if we are looking at the scientific facts, we have to stick closely to that. And if we want to change these standings from racist views, I'm not agreeing with these racist views. What I'm saying is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about these racist views that they have scientifically? What are you going to do about them calling us African when African is a Latin word? What are you going to do about you proving your stance that Africa means African? What are you going to do about proving Allah is in the Medu Neter hieroglyphs? See, you have to prove your standing, not come on Facebook, create medicine without getting your medicine in a trial, and then you giving people medicine you just made up. That's dangerous.
And I concur. I concur. Well, thank you very much. We have some time, to build again. I was very surprised that you've been watching my videos for years.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that. And my people, I would encourage you to learn the Medu Neter. There's a few people who are giving lessons, including myself. You can also go the self-taught route. It's a bit more difficult, but it's not impossible. That's the way I went at it. But as long as you are equipped, then you will avoid being fooled by people who claim to teach accurate stuff, and really, like he was said, it's just some stuff that they made up and they sound good, so some people just happen to believe it.
When you ask, you said this, Shaka, is it a title or an adjective? He said, that right
Yes.
there. See that? A title, right? Grammar issues there. That's grammar issues. You're trying to change the grammar. Now you are in a hole that you can't dig out, because now that you're trying to change grammar, now you have to prove all of these grammar books on Egyptian are wrong.
It's a difficult task,
Difficult task.
to say the least.
All right? You have to prove this is wrong. See?
Coptic
Good luck.
etymological dictionary.
Good
But
luck.
have you heard what they said about it? Well, one of them said about dictionaries. Or you go by what the dictionary says, huh?
Yeah, why not? If it's peer reviewed, this is peer reviewed. The Chrome Coptic Dictionary is peer reviewed. Yeah, why not? Because scholars has tested it and proven it, and they have bibliography, sources, citations, and why not go by a Coptic dictionary? It's not only in Coptic dictionaries. I know you've seen probably when I showed where the Coptic lady was describing herself as black. That's not in a Coptic dictionary. That's Coptic text.
Mm.
So I'm confused. And I showed that from peer review. My whole channel deals with nothing but peer review. If it's not peer review, you could be my best friend. You're not going to be on that joint. You know what? To be respectful, I'm not even on that until I get peer review. That's why I haven't showed my work that's in the journal yet. I can't even be on my channel until I am legitimate in peer review. And once I get legitimate in peer review, then I will share it on my channel. I can't even be on my channel yet. So we have to make that clear. It's not biasness in it. I just, if it's not peer review, you can't tell me Sumerian is related to any African languages without you going through a system of experts and peer review to peer review your work, that are experts at Sumerian, that are experts at historical linguistics, to tell you that, hold up, dog, you tripping.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, we'll see what's going to happen next. But indeed, some people are into some hole. It's going to be difficult to get out of it.
Very difficult.
But thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Share the link to the brothers' YouTube channel. You will find it in the chat. Um, Thank you for being there, brothers and sisters. We can definitely get some clarity. We can always disagree, it's fine, but as long as we stick to, we go with the proper method, we deal with the primary, we listen to the expert, we will definitely get some clarity. So, brothers and sisters, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I am allowed to by the Neteru, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotel.
That.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hana Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Nature classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Nature class. Hotep.
Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.